recording now, yeah.
It's recording.
It's recording
Okay,
now.
Catch up. I had the worst fucking day ever. This is Pallavi. I had the worst day ever. I slept for, like, less than 3 hours, and it was really bad sleep. And then I took a final, and then I found out that the class that I took a final for may not count towards my requirements. And then that was terrible. And then Taylor got lost going to pick me up for this podcast. And then 2.5 hours later, we finally met up. And then we talked for like an hour?
Yeah.
How long have we been back here?
A while. We've been back here for a while.
And we didn't record any of it.
I wanted
This is the weirdest fucking day. And he just discovered that it wasn't recording, and that's when we started recording right now. And we were having a great conversation and talking about how, like, today was really hard, but everything worked out. And then he checked and saw that he forgot to hit record. This is hilarious. This is me at my lowest right now. This is me. Oh my god. And now I feel like not talking about, like, all the awesome shit we talked about because we already talked about it.
I agree, yeah. We're going to start now.
Are you still recording?
It's recording. It's
Okay.
solid red. It's recording.
It's recording.
We had serious, deep conversation that I'm so proud of. It was beautiful.
I was articulate. I feel like I conveyed all of my true feelings about comedy and my motivation and about what my goals are. I was great in that imaginary podcast we just had.
we basically had a date. That's basically what that was.
We played pretend with mics that look fake. They look like, I said this before, but I'll say it again. They look like children's karaoke mics, and we were holding them and talking into them as though our world is real, and it's not. Everything's fake, and we're all going to die in 5 years anyways. This is either going to be a great podcast or, like, the worst one, because I just give no fucks about this or my life. I mean, I care about your podcast in the back of my head, but right now I'm just, like, broken, so.
I don't care either. Let's just say fuck it and see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask 3 questions. You can answer the questions. All of them are just one. Fuck it. I asked these questions.
Wait, are these the questions at the end of the podcast?
Yeah, we're skipping it.
Are we not doing the fucking podcast?
We're doing the podcast, but we're just doing this now. We're going to do it upside.
And then it'll generate more
We're doing an upside down podcast right now because
fine.
the upside down podcast now. That's what we're doing.
This is a sandwich where the first half wasn't a sandwich. It was tofu.
It's fantastic. It was good.
Oh my god!
I asked these questions to my 18-year-old coworkers at my other job.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 22. So their little brains explode, and it's fun to watch.
And I'm very old. I'm definitely too old for this shit.
I'm too old to be in the back of a car right now.
No, I'm just too old for today. Like, you know, okay, whatever. I'm just, like, I'm worn down. Like, right before people snap is where I'm at.
Okay, great. This is a confined space, so please don't snap.
I'm not gonna snap.
Okay, first question. What song best describes you as a human being? Second question. What quote ignites the fire in your soul? Question 3. This will be fun. Best and worst date.
Okay, for the first 2 questions, I have to say that I don't have an answer and I don't give a fuck about it. I used to be like, favorite color, favorite movie, but it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't have, what is it, quote and song?
Quote and song.
It's literally like whatever I feel like. Because nothing matters, everything's transient. I thought I liked The Dark Knight the best, but maybe that's just because it was Batman. You know, like, I don't have anything that, I feel like nothing's so precious to me. I feel like I've just thrown things away and moved on enough that I don't have something like that I cling to.
No, I'm getting to that point.
Okay.
And it scares the shit out of me. That's why I hold on to that stuff.
It's
because
power sometimes, though. Like, I'm very sentimental, or I used to be, or I might still be. I don't know. I'm just too busy to figure out what I am right now. Like, that's like, right now I'm like, I'm a different person than I was, but I don't have time to figure it out. But I used to, like, save and, like, I still save, like, a lot of, like, notes and letters and stuff, but I used to save, like, everything, and now I, like, conference badges that I used to go to, like, you know, like, school conferences or whatever, like, for research and stuff. I used to save, like, my name badge from that to remember that I went there, and sometimes I'll still save it if it's, like, you know, a big thing or something, but now I just, like, I throw so much shit away, and it's, like, it's empowering because you just forget about it. Like, I used to never throw, like, I used to take forever to throw, like, clothes away and stuff, and then it feels so good to just, like, throw shit out sometimes, because you never miss something that you can function without. And I just feel like, I don't know, I guess with, like, quotes and songs, like, it always changes and you find something new and interesting to, like, listen to or read, but it doesn't matter. I think probably quotes that make, was it the fire inside you?
The fire inside your soul.
Okay, I'm going to say that I'm going to interpret that as something that makes me really happy. And I would say that all of those quotes are now supplied by my friends who make me laugh really hard. So it's just, like, every night I laugh, like, super hard because of comedy, which is amazing. It's, like, my favorite part of comedy. And that's all because of, like, my friends that say some crazy shit that just, like, makes me really happy. So that's, like, every day that's changing. Every day I have, like, a new favorite moment. Thanks to comics and stuff. Anyways, again, nothing matters. It's like, I just don't think you should be scared of it, because it's, like, I don't know. You just learn to let go easy. That's like in the imaginary podcast that we didn't record before this one. I was talking about how you get better as you get older. Although the joy of discovery isn't as frequent, you do get better at, like, skills that deal with, like, bad shit, and that's, like, part of that is letting go. I think you get better at, like, you don't freak out about letting go as much. What was the other one?
Oh, best and worst date.
Best and worst date. I don't know what counts as a date. I just, like, because I, like, all of my, like, boyfriends until, like, recently were people I went to school with, so we would just, like, hang out, and then we would end up being together or whatever. So, like, those weren't, like, serious dates. I think, like, I'm sure I'm forgetting things. I don't know what the best one is, because, like, all the different relationships had different, like, high points or whatever. I think one that stands out was probably, like, one of my first ones was with my high school boyfriend. We went to, like, prom together, and it was, like, super fun, and we were super cute. And we went, like, we always used to go to, was it Denny's? Or, like, we used to go to, like, just, not Denny's. Oh, Village Inn. We used to go to Village Inn, which is, like, a kind of like Denny's, and we would, like, after, like, the dances, I only went to a few dances, but, like, after dances or, like, late at night, we'd go and we'd get, like, terrible pie and stuff. And so that was fun. Like, we went and did that with all of our friends, and we were, like, we just had a good time. And he was, like, my first boyfriend ever. And, I was, like, so nice back then. And then my worst date, I can't, okay, if it's just, actually, I want to change my answer for my best date. It ended poorly, but it started amazing. I went to Iceland this summer with my friend, and I was, like, we both got out of really long last summer, July, we both got out of, like, really, like, long relationships, and we were, I think we were watching The Fast and the Furious over Skype with each other, drunk or something, and we were like, let's plan a trip. So we planned a trip to Iceland, and we went there, and we drove around the island, and, like, we were in this fishing village of 120 people, and the grocery store / bar / liquor store / restaurant, the only one in this small village, like, closed at, like, 8 or whatever, and we were like, what are we going to do? And I was like, we're going to join all of the dating apps. So we both joined all the dating apps, and I literally, like, I got, like, ton of matches because I was like an Indian girl in Iceland, so all the Icelandic people were like, we're not related for sure, like, and then so they all swiped on me, and he got like no matches, and even when he came up on mine, I swiped no on him just to like mess with him, and he got really upset because he wanted me to swipe right because he wanted to see if it was working. But he was like a white dude in Iceland, like that's all of them, like he wasn't gonna have a good chance. But I like got all these dates around the island, and I got people, like, I got 3 dates in one night in Reykjavik, and I didn't, like, do anything with them, really, but, like, we just, like, met up, and they, like, showed us different bars and stuff, and it was, like, fun, you know, to, like, talk to, like, local people and make friends that way. But there was a really fun date that happened in Akureyri, which is this fishing town. It's, like, the second largest city in Iceland other than Reykjavik, and it's so pretty and, like, awesome. And I met up with this guy on Tinder, and he said he had a friend. So my guy friend was like, oh, my God, I hope she's amazing. And it was this big Austrian dude. So, anyways, and we, like, did a whole – he was trying to, like, hook up with me or whatever. And so he did a whole, like, show of, like, we planned this, like, scavenger hunt at, like, 3 a.m. in Iceland. But it was, like, bright outside because it was in the summer and it was Iceland, right? So it's, like, it was just super bright. So we did this whole, like, scavenger hunt that we planned, and including, like, breaking into a swimming pool in Iceland and, like, doing all these crazy things. Like, he did a backflip off of somebody's boat that was just parked there. Like, it was super fun. And then we, like, we went back and, like, did some stuff, and then he was kind of a dick afterwards, but kind of because I was a dick to him a little bit. But that first part of the date was super fun. It was, like, a 3 a.m. scavenger hunt in Iceland. Like, what? It was so much fun. And it was, like, competitive against the Austrian guy and my friend. It was stupid. They were like, why are we doing this? We're not going to hook up. It's just for those guys. And then the worst date, I don't know. I just, like, had, I think the last date I went on, it wasn't, like, horrible, but he, like, force kissed me at the end. And it was after this, like, I'm just noticing that, like, all these people on all these dating apps can be, like, really boring. And so we went out, and it was, like, whatever, and then he kept trying to get, like, closer to me, and I just, it was, I don't know, like, at some point you're just, like, I should be at an open mic. Like, you're just, like, this is a waste of time, and a lot of these conversations, I said this before to some of my friends, and it's super, like, narcissistic, but a lot of these conversations that I have, like, on dating apps, I'll be like, yeah, it's super fun. Like, he's really funny. And then I look back at it, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm funny. He just liked my responses. So he'd be like, haha, and I'd be, like, feeling good about the conversation. But it's like it's like Twitter to me. I'm just like, he liked what I said. It sounds, like, so egotistical, but a lot of the times, like, the responses are really boring. Like, it's hard to find banter that, like, matches, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, after that last date, I was just like, ugh. I don't feel, I don't know, I just haven't gone on a date since. I haven't, like, really hung out with a guy since, like, January. And it's really weird, I guess. I'm like, I just don't want to invest the time, but I also want it to happen. But I just don't have the care, you know, right now. I'm just like, I just only have school and comedy and my dog. And that's all I care about. And my friends, but I also am a really bad friend right now. So, yeah. Does that help? Is that good? Okay.
That's solid, yeah.
Yeah. That scavenger hunt was super fun. Yo, Iceland is the best. I have a comic friend there because he was one of my dates or whatever. He was one of the dates that showed me around. He's super dope. But we're Facebook friends now. So if I ever want to go to Iceland, he asked me to do an open mic, but I was leaving on Sunday and the mic was on Monday. But now I have, like, comic friends in Iceland. I want to go back there. It's, like, super amazing. It's, like, unreal. If you go anywhere, like, you're going to go to Australia?
Yeah.
I haven't been there, but after that, you should go to Iceland.
Iceland.
It's so amazing. It doesn't make sense. Like, we drove around the island, which I highly recommend, and, like, every 10 minutes, the scenery changed from, like, these rolling green hills to, like, fucking volcano to, like, glacier. Like, it was crazy. Like, they have everything and a million waterfalls. Like, It's like Lord of the all of the backgrounds of Lord of the Rings and all of like Game of Thrones backgrounds. They actually have the cave from Game of Thrones where like Jon Snow made love in or whatever. It's like there somewhere. I didn't actually get to see it, but it's just like the landscape doesn't make sense. There are all these like wild horses and sheep, and they're gorgeous, and it's so beautiful. It's like it's amazing. I want to live there forever. Except I'd probably go crazy on like a small island, but it's still beautiful. What's the best place you've ever been?
But like for me as a person, or for me psychologically?
Both.
For me as a person, Barcelona. Psychologically, Mykonos.
Wait, why? Well, what does as a person mean actually?
Like so, me and my best friend, we traveled through Europe for 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So we first started at Barcelona, and I was able to like meet a whole bunch of people, get really, really drunk.
Oh, so like extrovert versus introvert?
Yeah, and just kind of like learn who I am as a person and go, oh, people do like me, not just crazy comics. Okay, I'm relatable, and it was really cool. And just like being able to like hear people's stories and be like, we like you, you know?
How long have you been doing comedy?
I'm in my 3rd year.
So you started when you were like 19?
Yeah.
What made you... It's like amazing to me. Like I started I feel like late in life. I feel like super old. But I like when I was younger, I never realized that was an option. I had a friend in college who did it, but I never like thought of it as a thing for me. Even though I was still like filming sketches and shit with my friends, I didn't think of like comedy as like outside of like my friends as like a possible profession or like important hobby or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
How did you like get into that at 19?
So 2 things that were banned in my house was like rap music and comedy.
That's fucking hilarious.
So I was watching Comedy Central one night, right? And Gail Iglesias was on. I'm not a big fan of him now, but then I was a real big fan of him. And he says, this is like my therapy. And my mom would always say, like, I know I'm a bad mom, and you're going to need therapy because of me. It's like, oh, there's therapy. It's free. Let me do that. So I was like thinking about it. I told a buddy of mine, he was like, you couldn't tell a joke to save your life. I was like, oh, I can't do comedy then. But then as time went on, I was in college, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. I want to do stand-up. I want to do stand-up, right? But I was scared shitless. I was scared to drive. I'm like, I have nothing to do. I've done nothing. But the thing that pushed me to do it was a mixture of suicide, depression, and murder. I knew this guy. I liked this girl. She did not like me. This is the story. Yeah, that I'm trying to make funny now, which is real difficult to do because no one's expecting me to go almost kidnapped a guy and then make it funny. But
did you actually almost?
Everything I said in that story was true. The only part that wasn't true was me playing with crowbars in Walmart. That's the part I just kind of added in there to make it funny, but it's not funny. But everything that's true, yeah. I would ride my bicycle from because I was sad. I would go from a burrito place. So basically,
you liked this girl, and then you wanted to kill this guy.
Oh, so I liked this girl. I thought she liked me back because turns out I was wrong. And then she asked him out, and he took her out. But he told me on a group message. And I had very few friends in that group message. So I was like, oh, you're going to die now because Eminem was blaring in my ears. And I was like, oh.
How do you actually, did you think you were going to get a... We had to change batteries. Okay, so you almost killed the dude.
Yeah, so...
no biggie.
Yeah, no biggie.
So basically it was jealousy.
It was jealousy and it was anger. I realized... I need something to constantly think about for me to function. So I would constantly think about, plotting, asking her out. Then if she said yes, where would we go? Stuff like that. So I spent a lot of time thinking about that. Then that was crushed. And
then you were like, comedy.
Yeah, then I was like, comedy. So I would ride my bike going from a taco place, buying all the tacos I could eat. Then eating ice cream, then going to Denny's. And in that time I would plot kidnapping him. So the whole grabbing a baseball bat, knocking him, putting him in the trunk of a car, and walking him inside of a bathroom with a bag over his head so he could feel as alone as I did. And then I was like, you know what, screw it.
You're a crazy person.
Yes,
I'm
I am.
in the back of a car with you right now.
You heard my stand-up.
I know. It's weird how much trust I invest in people. That's something that I had to learn is that just because you hear people stand up doesn't mean, not you, but like other people, you can't necessarily trust their actions. I gave too many people the benefit of the doubt. I'm very naive when it comes to people. I like don't think that they're going to do the bad thing that they end up doing. I'm like, no, why would they do that? That's wrong. So like, yeah. I mean, you could all I'm saying is you could kidnap me. All the evidence you would have is this recording, and the entire time I'd be like, he's not kidnapping me. Like, why would he do that? That's wrong.
I'm better now. Eminem is out of my life.
What?
Yeah.
No one has ever said they're better for Eminem being out of their life.
I was doing some research for the joke, and it turns out 19-year-old boys need like that male kind of role model to kind of guide them to fight back who they are as a man. And I latched on way too hard to Eminem because he was angry and I was angry. And
no, now Bill O'Reilly is going to tell you that rap music's bad for your children.
But now I got Joe Rogan in my life, and it's almost like he's still kind of angry, but you can still type in Joe Rogan motivation. Like there's the nice little balance.
Yeah.
There was no Eminem motivation. You just have to lose yourself.
I think now he's got it after, what was it, Recovery? That was the great album that he came back with before the Rap God album.
Oh, Recovery.
It was, yeah, Recovery was awesome. He humbled himself on that one. Eminem's dope. I'm gonna be on a rap album.
I wrote a rap song for work at my other job.
Oh, really?
And then because I didn't see the girl's like, hey, we should write a song together. I was like, okay, cool, no problem. I didn't see her for about a month. I was like, I have this song I wrote. What do I do with it? So I wrote it on the back of my T-shirt that I'm wearing right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, behind it, and I wrote it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You gonna record it?
I don't know. I want to start making beats though. I think that'd be really fun.
That's dope.
But
I am gonna be on a rap album. I like recorded. My friend is a rapper, and she had me do voice skits on it. So I'm like the Chris Rock to her Kanye. That's how I like to think of it.
Where is the album out now? Like
it's dropping like next month or the month after, I think. I recorded. I don't know if she's actually done. It got delayed a little bit like last year. Her name is Ruby Ibarra. And she's part of B-Rock Music. So they're all these like rappers out of Oakland, and then she and I met because we were both scientists at the same job. Like she's still a scientist, and she also is like a huge like she does really well. Like she can tour and stuff, and like she's Filipina, and so like she has like a huge Filipino following and stuff, and she raps in that language, Tagalog, and it's like pretty dope. I was like, what? I could be on a rap album. It's like it was my dream. It's like I have this thing where I'm like, every comic wishes they could be a rapper.
Yeah, same
every
thing,
rapper wishes they could be an athlete. And every athlete wishes they could hit 40 before hitting a woman. That's like, that's my theory.
No, every time I get on stage, a little part of me just wants to start jumping up and down, and I feel also jumping up and down
The number of people in comedy that like love rapping is just it's like insane. Because we all think it's like it's holding a mic but being cooler while doing it, and having everyone like if everyone screamed your punchline at the same time and they were like that big of fans, how dope would that be?
Just the shit that comes out of my mouth, that'd be amazing. If 5 people were like, yes, we agree with that crazy statement.
Although comics kind of do that to each other. Like I notice on like there'll be Facebook posts that like kind of tease at other comics like punchlines and stuff.
Yeah.
Or like reference them, and everybody knows what they're talking about because they know those jokes. If you're like out and about, and they're good jokes. So that's kind of fun in our little community. It's very dark now. We started this when it was very light outside.
Yeah.
And time just continues to drift past us as this day dies down.
Yeah. And then, back to the original question, how did I get into stand-up?
Oh, yeah.
My plan escalated from kidnapping to murder. Box cutter thing, totally true. Car battery not working, totally true. Had to call my dad. Realized, don't do it. This isn't part of the joke yet, but I started jerking off so often that my dick would hurt, and I would tell my friends this, who I'd work with, and they went, you know what, we're tired of hearing this shit. If you don't lose your virginity in a month, we're going to gather all of our friends that know you to punch you in the face. So I had a month to lose my virginity. I'm dealing with suicide, depression, almost killing a guy, and now I gotta do this when I need to make some changes. I just started doing stand-up comedy like real recently around that time. I met an ex-heroin addict who told me all your problems are mental. Turns out everyone knows that shit. I didn't know that at the time. I was like, no way, you can like change it. And that kind of set me on a path to my iPod broke, had to get a new iPod. Turns out the podcast app came free. So I clicked on the podcast and went like, how to be happier. A little book of 10 ways to find content. And I listened to it and I wrote down all the notes and I just kind of started from step by step until I just kind of became who I am now. Listen to Pete Holmes. Victor Martinez told me to watch Joe Rogan, so I started going to Joe Rogan. Then just all the people in his camp, started kind of mixing with them. And
I listen to Pete Holmes. I'm sorry, I'm like off track. I don't listen to Joe Rogan as much, but I should. But I used to listen to Pete Holmes. But one thing that bothers me about like his podcast, I like hate it when people are like not scientific about stuff, or like about scientific stuff.
Right.
And he has a tendency where he'll talk about something, and I'm afraid that it can be interpreted as though he knows what he's talking about when he really doesn't. Like, which is fine. He's a comic. Like, he's not supposed to know about like science or whatever. But sometimes the way he talks about like spirituality and like that stuff, like there's like a scientific reasoning behind how the mind works and how like certain things happen, and it's just like I'm just like no, like I can't. It like really bothers me when I see like wrong Facebook articles and like shit like it, because like people just spread like misinformation and then people die from not vaccinating their like kids, you know, like people die from it, and it bothers me, and that's why I can't listen to Pete Holmes as much anymore.
Yeah, I kind of still listen to Pete Holmes just because he was just so obnoxious. It was hard for me to take him seriously. I never
thought he was that, like, because I laugh really loudly,
right.
And I'm, like, super loud and annoying. So, like, I'm like, you're fine. Like, with the, like, people say that he's obnoxious or whatever, but I, like, think he's fine that way. I'm just, like, it's too much, sometimes it's just, like, too much spirituality.
Yeah.
Like, it's too much for me.
Sometimes when there's a female guest on, there's just a lot of, like, gabbing, and it's, like, this...
Oh, like, he does his, like, gal pal
kind of thing, which is fun, sometimes really fun to listen to, like, oh, cool, yeah, that's an amazing conversation. But sometimes you're like, what's the point of this conversation right now? Where's this going? Yeah.
You want something deeper.
I do, yeah, I like to go straight to the deep, and which sucks for comedy, because you can't just go straight to...
I do. I have a joke that starts with people be raping.
and
that's the joke that most people know me for.
Yeah, because it's smart. It's a smart joke. Cause like,
that's the one Joe Rogan I did for Joe Rogan when he was on Kill Tony.
It's the joke about like the Vikings and things like that. Yeah. Right? I like it because it's a smart joke.
Thank you.
I really really like smart humor. Like the shit that makes me think. Oh, that's there's like actual facts. And then that's the stuff that gets me excited. That's why I like Joe Rogan's comedy. Because it makes me think. I mean, it goes, oh, you know, let me Google that fact. Oh, it's a real fact. Okay. Yeah. Instead of this, like, wishy-washy kind of bullshit. And it's just, like, I like smart comedy. And
yeah. Yeah, I think, like, I don't know. I feel like, you know how we were talking about how we don't know what's funny sometimes?
Yeah.
I feel like I can't say what I can't give an overarching thing of, like, what I don't like, but I know I don't like it when I hear it. It's like
it's like porn. You know
quote,
yes,
exactly. The quote about porn. When you see it, I'm like, I know I hate this open micer. I don't know why, but I know I hate it.
Sometimes I just smell their weakness, like their lack of confidence, and that's what bugs me.
That doesn't bother me as much. I'm just like, because I empathize with that. I'm like, oh, like I've been up there like losing my shit. It like whatever, like that happens. I don't like people that are arrogant about it and they're not funny. I'm like, because when I get off stage and I like don't do well, I like run outside and I'm like, I just like keep talking about how I'm a trash person for like 15 minutes. So, like, it's really annoying to be around me, which it's like also maybe not productive, but at least like I feel something. Right. There are people who get off stage and they're like, I killed, and I'm like, you were terrible. Like you were not even one of those things where like I didn't like it and everybody else did. It's like they were just god awful, like nobody liked it, and they just get off stage and they're like, I'm amazing. It's that like lack of self-awareness that made Trump president. Like it's super fucking frustrating.
I don't give myself a break. I'll get off stage and go, that was really good. I go, no, this. That's how I
feel.
Wrong.
I feel like I haven't had a good set since probably the fall. I would say January because I learned something in January, and I don't mind having like a bad set where I like learned something.
Right.
And I learned how to like like riff more or whatever, like pull myself out of bombing in January. Like there was a moment that happened. But I like definitely feel like I haven't had like a good material set since like early November. And I started in August and it's April now. Like I haven't, yeah. I just feel like I'm like really bad every time I do it. I mean, and I also have been like not drinking as much lately. I never really drank that much while I did it or whatever, but I have been trying to get more shit done, so I haven't been drinking like at all. And so I don't feel like as loose or whatever. So I feel everything more when I get off stage. I'm like, this is terrible.
There was this comic at Garage Mike, talking about how, you got up on stage, right, realizing nobody was listening to you, and you just started pointing people out, and they're like, hey, you, stupid in the jacket, and stuff, like, you kept pointing them out.
Me?
Yeah.
I did this?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, who was talking about it?
I think it might have been Elvis.
Was it a good thing that I did that?
No, he said that you taught him a lesson of how to control the room and then forced people to listen to you.
Cool. That's cool. I think of that as like another person did that in my mind. I'm like, oh man,
who did that? That's crazy.
Pallavi from last week was great. Why am I shitty now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still trying to like learn how to do that, control a room, because it still gets away from you. That's when I feel really bad for comics, is when they don't control a room. I'm like, or I get like frustrated for them. I'm like, come on, don't give up your mic time. But then when I'm on stage and that happens, I get like really like upset that I can't grab him. There was one time at like Lotus Lounge, which is like this rowdy bar, that I couldn't get him. And I was like, oh, it was so painful. And I was like, I know that this is happening, and I'm trying all these things to make this not happen. And it was just one of those things where I was like, it's a lesson that I haven't learned yet. It's something that I have to figure out.
Yeah.
But
I want to control the room at Garage Mike.
Really?
It's just like every time I get up there, I'm like, no one's listening, and that's fine. I get it. But like, even the people who are sitting there,
yeah,
I just feel like I don't get them. And I'm trying to figure out how to get them.
Yeah.
By doing weird, stupid shit. Like one time, I found a pot in the garbage, so I took it, and I was gonna squat on the pot, but I didn't realize how heavy I was and how weak it was, so it cracked. And then I was so insecure after that. I was just starting out the whole kidnapping murder bit, but I made eye contact with one guy, and because I didn't have any jokes, it was just a story. I almost kidnapped and murdered the guy, and I didn't blink because I was nervous. Yeah. And he got scared and he left.
Really?
No, he goes, I can't sit here anymore. I'm scared, and he left.
That's funny.
Yeah. But then there was a comic. That's why I love Garage Night, because it's school for comedy for me.
No, I was talking to a comic yesterday about. I like how you wanted to talk about science, and we just are talking about comedy this whole time.
Yeah. I want to talk about science, but like you had a rough science day, and I didn't want to like add.
I mean, we can talk about it in a little bit, but okay. So I was talking to another comic about how she was like, "What mics do you go to?" And I listed all these mics, and she's like, "Oh, you go to the gritty mics." She said she was very nice to me, and she like gave me a compliment. She's like, "I think you're really funny. I want to know what mics you go to, so like we can go together and like learn and stuff." The lights are going on and off because it's very windy. And
sorry, I thought
ghosts are coming out or something.
I thought it was a cop. Like, that's not good. How do I explain this one?
They're gonna just ask me if I'm okay. That's what happens when my black friends drop me off at home. The cops come by and they're like, "Are you okay?" And then I'm like, and then my black friend will be like, "Yeah, we're fine." And then they'll be like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Leave us alone." I don't know what I was saying. Oh yeah, so she was saying that I was going to like the grittier mics, and I didn't view them as such, right. But I really do love like the late night mics where you have to like work harder, and it's not. I like a good variety. Like I like club mics and like backyard mics and just like mics where people don't listen. And like I love the late night mics because it's wilder and it feels more like the Wild West, and you can get away with like more shit and do like longer sets, and I don't know. It just seems like it's a lot of work to get this done.
I liked it just because it was that old that 8 Mile, that just like at the very beginning just him lip syncing, or like him singing in the mirror. It's like very itty gritty, and I grew up in the suburbs, so I didn't get that, and now I get to...
Now you're like, I'm hard.
Now, yeah.
I'm hard.
I'm hard. I go to garage and I taste myself, you know? Yeah.
The fact that there's a taser there?
Yeah, and then I put $1 in Kenny Lyon's butt. I got to do that.
You put a what?
I put $1 in Kenny Lyon's butt because he got naked on stage.
Oh my god.
Like, I get to do that, and I get to bring it to 18-year-olds at my other job and tell them what crazy things I do, and they go, that's not okay. When like, that's how life works.
You know, that's how life works.
This is how my life works.
Sometimes you stick $1 in a butt, kids.
Like, I literally went like, what are you doing today? So, me and my friend are going to do a podcast in the back of my car and beanbag chairs. Like, that's not normal. Well, it's normal for me. It's Thursday. What are you talking about?
This is scheduled. This is on my Google Calendar. This is like, I go home and I tell my roommates about my life, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, this is like, in high school, like, I was always doing extracurriculars, and I was always, like, really busy, and all my friends would, like, they started, you know, drinking, or they would, like, go out and party, or whatever, and then they would come back with crazy stories, and I was always, like, the one that was like, I'm sorry, I can't come, and then eventually they stopped inviting things, and I was like, I still want to be invited, even if I say no. But then in college, I went to, like, all that, it was kind of like what is that? The grasshopper and the ant, or I don't know, whatever. One of those fucking stories. Where like I like worked really hard, and then I got into this like awesome school, and then everybody like did pranks, all the like really elaborate pranks all the time, and like all this crazy shit happened because it was all these like really smart, creative people like stuck on Science Island basically, just like trying to entertain themselves while doing all this like really hard work. And so I would come home to all my friends who used to like party and stuff in high school, and now they like went to kind of tamer schools or whatever, and I was the one with all the craziest stories, and it's just like continued to be that way where I like my life has just gotten like weirder as time has gone on to the point where like this podcast in the back of the car is perfectly normal. It's like tame compared to, to like other shit we do during the week.
That's why I like it. It's just it's just something. Like, not doing mics for like a couple of days, just my brain.
I can't. This happened this week. Like, I can't. The first day that I did a mic, I think I did 2 mics. I did like Silver Lake Lounge. Well, so I did my first 3 mics at Brainwash Cafe in San Francisco, but I did one in January of last year, and then like March, and then June, so I don't really count my start there, because there was like 3 sets over like 8 months or whatever, and then I came to LA in August, and I went to Silver Lake Lounge, and then did that one, and then I did Lyric, and like after I did Silver Lake, because I knew I was going to go hard in comedy, because I knew I liked it, and I wanted to do it, and then I like put my mind to as soon as I moved down here, but I, like, that week, I did, like, a couple mics, and I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I was like, no, I'm trapped in, like, now I know I have to do this, like, every day, or, like, as much as possible. And it's just, like, it's an addiction. It's definitely, like, it's like people who work out all the time who, like, don't work out for a day. They, like, lose that endorphin rush or whatever. Yeah. And then they go crazy. I go crazy when I have to, like, just study and stuff. I feel like I'm not like exercising my comedy muscles.
I feel bad because I don't have any stories. Like, I feel boring.
Why?
Because like, so I'll go to work, I'll go to sleep.
Oh, you haven't like.
I don't do stand up, so I haven't lived it. So it's like, so what'd you do?
Yeah, people say that you have to do that, and I think I'm really bad at that. Like, taking time to like go. Like, my friend, I was texting him today, and he's a comic, and he was like, when's the last time you did that fun thing, or did anything fun? And I was like, remember that one time we went and got froyo like a month ago? That's the time and then like maybe another time since then I talked to people on the roof of my building. Well, there was like, they were hanging out, and that was like it. Like, that's like, I feel guilty if I'm not like doing school or comedy, but I think there's some value in that. Like, go off and have an adventure, and then you have more shit to talk about. Yeah,
I did that for a little bit, just because like working 2 jobs made me like all depressed, and I needed to be around people and like experience life again. Yeah. So my buddy Jose and I, we went to like a museum and like play at tar pits, and like we tried.
Oh, that's fun.
So it was really cool, but also like, okay, cool, this is awesome. So I was like, I need to do stand up. This is. It's like, so it ignited me, like, okay, cool, I can be normal, but now it's time to not normal.
I think one thing that was fun was in India, I went in December and I did stand-up in 3 different cities 4 times. And I think what helped was, like, I knew I was constantly, like, around family and, like, doing all this fun shit, but I had my, like, contacts set up. So I was always, like, I'm looking forward to doing this show or this, like, mic or whatever. So it's like I wasn't doing it then, but I had something to look forward to. And I think here, like, in LA, it's like, you know you can do it all the time, and so then you get, like, frustrated when you're not, because you're like, I should be doing it. But in India, like, I couldn't do it all the time, right? So I was just like, okay, like, I'm going to do it at that point, but right now I have to, like, be in the moment. So I think you have to, like, recreate that or something. You have to be, like, I guess, like, schedule something and then just be like, that's when I'm going to start doing it. And, like, until then, I have to, like, live in the moment and, like, pretend like I don't have access to it or something. I don't know. I'm bad at it, too. Like, I'm very tired. I'm, like, incredibly tired right now, and I'm doing a podcast. so, like, I don't know what I'm talking about. That's all I have to say. I like always start out like realizing that I'm giving somebody advice, and then I'm like, what the fuck am I talking about? I'm like a baby on this scene. And then I'm like, I always like they're like, what mics do you have? What do you do when you like have like this issue? Or they don't even say anything, they just present a problem, and I'm like, well, maybe you could do this. And then like halfway through the thought, I'm like, what the fuck am I talking? I'll say that out loud. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Don't take my advice. This is stupid. That's what I feel about most things.
It's good advice, though.
Don't take my advice?
No. I'm sorry. The advice you gave earlier, too, don't take my advice. It's like living in the moment, taking time for balance of family, but also being able to do stand-up.
Yeah. But also, I feel like people always say those things. It's different for everyone how to figure out, like, how to get themselves in that mindset. So.
But they could, like, listen to this on a Tuesday, right? Someone's like, you know what? I want to support Taylor and Pallavi. Let's click on this. And they go, you know what? I do got to start living in the moment. And because of this, they do that.
Look at that. You're welcome, everybody.
You're welcome. You're welcome to all 8 people.
You can Venmo us at... You want to support... That's so funny that comics have, like, their Venmo or whatever on their, like, Instagrams and stuff. Have you seen that?
No.
It's really funny. I'm like, that's kind of... It's like, whatever, do you? You got to, like, get money. You're putting out content or something. So it's pretty wild that people can just do that now. Or like GoFundMes.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of those. I saw a GoFundMe for somebody who had to move. And I was like, I'm not
helping you move.
I'm like, I don't know. I like try to like donate a lot to different causes and stuff. Or like as much as I can handle right now. But like, I feel like at some point you gotta draw the line. Because it's not like they're, like, I guess I don't know their story, but it didn't seem like they were, like, completely, like, broke, right?
Right.
Like, it seemed like they needed, like, a couple more months to save. You know what I mean? Like, it was, like, moving from a city in California to another city a couple hours away in California. Like, I was like, what? All right. But at the same time, like, whatever, it worked for them. They got the money, so. However you gotta do it, I guess.
I don't know where to go from here.
I don't know either. I'm like, really, it's very dark right now.
We've basically done 2 podcasts.
We've done 2 podcasts and a lot of bitching in between.
Alright,
Wait, what was... Oh, never mind. What's the weirdest answers you've gotten for the questions you asked me at the top?
So, for the questions of what's your favorite song, I've asked that to not only 18-year-olds, but I've asked that to girls on Tinder. Girls on Tinder unmatched me. Just
off of saying...
Just right off that. What's the song that best drives your human being?
The murder story.
Nope, didn't tell them that. That's, I want to go to a mic, and then I go, so you see what I do? You see what I talk about?
Okay, guys on dating apps, like, okay, first of all, they all think they're fucking funny, and they're not. They're like, let me help you. I'm like, no, bye. Like,
oh, you mean people actually like
People think that they're like, oh yeah, I've been thinking about doing stand-up. As soon as they say that, I'm like, I'm out. Like, I can't handle you. Like, how I don't come into your work and tell you how to do your job. There was a guy, I posted this thing on Twitter, because there was a screenshot, like, I had of the conversation with this guy.
No, it's okay.
And now I'm, like, paranoid. Of this conversation I had with this guy where he was like, you know, I could help you with your material sometime. Like, I'm pretty funny myself. And he was, like, an orthopedic surgeon. And I was like, hey, like, I have some kitchen knives and a basic understanding of anatomy. You want me to do surgery? Which I know is probably an unfair comparison, but I was just like they all say that they're thinking of doing stand-up, or like as soon as I say that, like, have your own thing. It's fine for you to do your own thing. You don't have to do stand-up. Like, you don't have to. And then they like want me to. They want to see me do stand-up as like a first date, and I'm like, this is fucking work. Like, I'm not going to bring a date to work. Like, what? Like, I'm just going to ignore you the whole time. My friends are more interesting at this point. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm just going to, yeah.
My plan was when I started doing jiu-jitsu, I was going to bring a girl from Tinder, right?
Yeah.
Try to jiu-jitsu. That was, oh, look, he does something athletic that's very difficult and interesting. Yeah. Okay. He seems to like it rough. And we get out of the way. Then, right, because it's up the street to Flappers, right? I just go up the street to Flappers.
So it was all about her watching you do stuff.
Yeah.
Was your plan for this date?
Because in my mind,
she's just like applauding and laughing.
He's also like, for me, like, it's so weird. Because like the first date, the girls are like, I want to be taken here. For me, the first date, the girls are like, I want to see what you do, so I know I'm not going to get murdered or raped. I need to go figure out who you are.
I need to be in public with you.
Right? Then also, I bring it to, like, Flappers, I bring it to all my friends. He knows so many people. He's so friendly. It doesn't even matter if I get up on stage or not. I'm already 100% more interested than she thought I would have been.
I don't want any of those people around any of my friends. Because they're strangers.
Yeah.
They're strangers to me. I want to see if they're worth the time investment first.
Oh, I just
like, I don't want to I don't want to distract myself with my friends, because it'll be like, it's like the same thing of like, oh, like, this conversation is great. No, I'm just having like a fun time with my responses. It's like, oh, like, this environment is great. No, I just like my friends. Like, you could be here or not, you know?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
And most people don't answer the questions. It's usually me answering the question, and then that's it. So I'm fine with it because I get to talk. But one girl actually did answer the question. She said, Cocoon by Milky Chance. It's like a alt rock band. Mm-hmm. Real deep song. Like, I watched the music video, and then I googled the lyrics.
Yeah.
And I read the whole thing, and I came back to the next day. I watched the song. Shit's deep, man. Like, it's like, it's crazy intricate. She's like, there's only like one girl who actually answered both those questions.
Did she respond after that, or?
Oh no! Sorry. The girl who responded was a girl from work.
Oh,
so it was just a conversation. No girl from Tinder has ever responded to a question like that. Mm. Well, except I asked a girl what her views on tacos and time travel were. She said, she said both.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's great how we start conversations that way. Both of them. It's not how views work.
Yeah.
My buddy's like, you come off too strong, you scare him away. I was like, how?
Part of me is like, oh, like, play the game like a normal person. Don't be like too crazy or like weird or mean. Because I can tend to be like sarcastic or whatever. I don't know. But then part of me is like, fuck it. If they're not like, it's like a weeds them out, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if somebody's like fully themselves at the beginning, I like also judge them. So it's like, I don't know the best way to play it. Cause
I've never got someone who's just themselves.
I had a couple people that like, it was really great banter, and one guy I went on a date with, and he was like, I kind of just see us as more like friend vibe or whatever, and then I copied and pasted his friend vibe thing to send to somebody else I didn't like after a date. I was like, well, that's useful. And that guy, it's really funny because like they'll follow me on like Twitter and stuff, because we'll be exchanging like stalking information, you know, like right. Instagram, Twitter, just to see what the other person's like. And then like now he still follows me on Twitter. The first guy who said that I gave him a friend vibe or whatever, and he'll like my tweets about online dating. Like, I'm like, oh, I think you're still single. That's all that tells me, is that I think you're still single. But yeah, it's really good for my follower count. I have a friend who, I think we have in common, but I don't want to blow him up right now, but he makes, like, videos online and stuff, and a lot of the times he has conversations with people. He gets them to watch his sketches and to follow his sketches online. This is how sad we are. This is like when I got to LA, I was just like, every Uber driver has a SoundCloud. That's like the only reason they're Uber drivers, is to play you their music.
That was I made comedy mixtapes. They're in my glove department right now. My plan is to become an Uber driver and play those and go, if you want to hear more.
Yeah. Self-promotion is a bitch, man. Yeah. You can do it everywhere. I used to get mad with my ex if he didn't like my tweets. That's like how much I care. I care so much about being funny and like people thinking that I'm funny, or like people that I respect thinking that I'm funny.
Yeah.
That like I'm like, why don't you think this is funny? I feel bad. But like, I don't know. Like it's just like really like I can't now. Like when I have conversations with guys on like Bumble or Tinder or whatever. It's like, if they like my tweets, I'm like, well, this is good. Like, at least this is a good sign. Because if they don't get it, then I'm just like, we're done. We're done here. Like, I don't care if you think I'm pretty. Just say I'm funny. Just say I'm funny already. How do we get to that?
You asked me what the responses I've gotten through those questions.
Yeah.
The quote ones, again, Tinder, unmatched. But at work, one or two people have actually given me.
They try to unmatch you at work. They're like,
we're tired. We're done. A couple of people, two people answered very honestly. One person just was a smart ass. But the best responses I get is the best and worst date. Mm-hmm. And so they'll go, you go first. So I'll give them just my dramatic worst date story, and they go, oh, well then, mine wasn't that bad. I'll tell you it, right? So,
yeah.
It's just me telling a bunch of people the shit I went through, and they go, oh, well, this, there you go. So.
But that's like, I'm just going to take this to another area. That's like one of my reasons for doing comedy is because when I was an undergrad, a lot of people would come talk to me because it was so loud and so open about like, all the shit that was happening to me that they wouldn't feel shame talking to me because they're like, this bitch is a complete wreck. Like, and so because of that, like, I was able to connect with a lot of people that had like mental health issues because I'm like pretty open about like seeing a therapist and like getting depressed sometimes, you know, like, so that's one of the reasons that I wanted to do comedy, because I would connect with people about, like, that's why I have like a darker sense of humor, is like I would make jokes while they were telling me they were suicidal, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and then that would crack them up a little bit, and that would make me happier to see them, like, and like make us both happier.
Right.
They were happier, and so that's like one of my comedy goal is like making sad shit funny, like, you know, making things more accessible to people.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons. It's like if my story is worse, those people won't feel as bad. You know, if all of my shit is laid out there, then those people will have something to relate to.
Yeah,
So keep telling your shitty date story, man. It makes people happy. You're like,
it's
not
so
bad.
bad.
My life's pretty good.
Yeah. I think that's why I like telling the murder story. Just like, because it's super real, and I enjoy that now. Just instead of the fake bullshit I made up in the past, I'm actually talking about something that's actual.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to be like, oh, like, here you go, this is a part of me.
Yeah.
You're not going to hear this from anyone else, I'm pretty sure. I mean, you could. You're deep down enough, but, yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely like being more, it's just easier to be honest on stage. It's less to think about. It's more yourself. I don't know. All very obvious things.
Sometimes I had a dream once. This is where I get most of my questions, either from other people or dreams. I had a dream. I was talking to a prostitute, and the prostitute asked me what.
Very different than the MLK dream, but come on.
Yeah, very different. We're very different people.
What?
No, right? It's crazy. I She asked me what's something I loved about myself, and I got so scared in the dream I woke myself up. So I wrote it down.
You wrote down what you loved, or just the question?
No, the question, what do you love about yourself? Because I don't know. I don't know.
Shit, that is a hard question.
So then I swear to God, I give all my coworkers nicknames because I can't remember their real names. And also, if they leave, I don't feel bad because they're gone. Cause I give them
no, nicknames are more endearing though.
It is, but
that like shows like a stronger bond to it.
It does, but also just let it go. You know, It doesn't matter. It's worth it. Her nickname is the Flash because she's real quick with responses. I go, do you want to have a bullshit conversation or a deep conversation? She goes, bullshit. I was like, okay, how was your day? She goes, like, good. And that was it. 5 minutes later, she was like, okay, what was the deep question? I go, what do you love about yourself?
Yeah.
What? I was like, don't worry, I don't know the answer either. Just like something I prostitute asked me in a dream. I don't know.
Prostitute asked me in a dream.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny. So you haven't figured it out yet. Have you gotten closer?
Yeah, a little bit. Doing this podcast and like hearing just kind of how people talk to me about me, I kind of go, oh yeah, that's true. So just kind of.
What are like some guesses?
Scrappy.
Scrappy.
Like, it's kind of hard to, like, in my own words about me, to, like, keep me down. Like, this is the 4th podcast I've done, and I've killed off the other ones that I didn't feel real enough about them. I mean...
Oh, so you're not, like, airing the other... Or the ones by yourself you're not airing?
No, I'm airing those ones. I meant, like... So, my first podcast was called Battle Scars.
Oh, you've tried other podcasts.
And I killed them off, but this is the one where I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm feeling actually... really good about the title and the
situation,
the location and the equipment and the beanbag chairs.
Yeah.
And like just doing stand up, and it's like my shit's not normal.
Yeah.
And then bombing super hard because of that, especially in front of real people.
Yeah.
And just like not so like I choose Scrappy plus.
So like having the fearlessness to do that.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
That's cool. I don't know what I love about myself.
It's a weird question.
Sometimes I really like my tweets. Does that count? I don't know.
It's a stepping stone. I believe it's a stepping stone. Like, you were to sit down tonight, I mean, after all your other shit.
What do you think are... Just compliment me now. What do you think are...
I like your work ethic. Just, like, going to school, doing stand-up.
Like bullshit on that one.
Yeah, but I mean, from outside in... To me,
I look very busy, but it's all inefficiency. Let me
think about it this way: instead of me, like finding a place to actually record and set up, I just drive the studio around everywhere. Yeah. Like that's pretty inefficient if we think about it.
No, I think it's really efficient. I think it's cool. You can do it anywhere at any time. You're making it mobile. It's flexible. All right.
You're very open and honest. Like, the first time I met you, you just went, you're a Taylor King. I was like, yeah. He goes like, I know, you don't know me. That's fine. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then, like, I was like, okay, thank God, because I had never seen you before. And you're like, oh, yeah, I saw you yesterday because of, I don't know, some girl was talking to a mutual friend of ours. Like, hey, man, we're going to do a podcast. You cool? Yeah, and then she snapped. And I went, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah. And then apparently you thought that was cool that I didn't snap. I just went like, oh, cool, I'm sorry.
You were very real.
Yeah. And so I like that about you. And it's like just your openness around me. Just like I feel like the shit I say off stage and on stage can get very strange very quickly.
Oh, so like my tolerance for weird.
Your tolerance of me, just
of
basically.
You in particular?
Yeah, just me, like doing. Oh, cool. It's nice. It's nice. Because like sometimes I know people go like, that was too much. What the fuck?
People do that to me too, though. Like I think people do that to a lot of comics. The comics constantly trying to like push their. Comics are like the weirdos in their family, right? Like they're constantly trying to push the boundaries. Like my family has like grimaced at me like quite a bit. Like I'm like the quirky, weird one in my extended family. Like I have so many cousins, and I'm probably still like one of the weirdest ones.
Yeah. I told aunts some of my jokes. But they did not laugh at all.
My
them.
family is friends with me on Facebook because I gave up. I was just like, I'm not going to be a different person. I can't do this. It's like I can't do it. I know, right. But I post some stuff up there about like, I have like jokes about like masturbating, and I have jokes about like, okay, but they're like classy jokes about masturbating. No, and then I have a joke about like depression and like all this other shit that's like more of a stigma in India, you know?
Right.
And, like, my fucking cousins and aunts and stuff are, like, laughing on, like, laugh emojis. And I'm like, well, alright, like, some of you guys relate to this. Like, at least, you know, I'm sure I, like, embarrass the shit out of them, like, sometimes. Or if, like, they knew, like, because I have some jokes about my family.
Right.
But it's all based out of, like, honesty and silliness or whatever. But there's a lot of, like, appearance and, like, appearing to be, like, put together and all this other shit that happens in, like, at least Indian culture that I'm familiar with. But I think, like, there's, like, that embarrassment factor. So if they knew that stuff, they might be, like, a little bit upset. But they, like, there's some jokes that they like. Like, there's some things that they're, like, weirdly laughing at that I don't expect.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I'll tell my dad jokes I'm working on. Just because, like, ever since I started doing stand-up, he's watching more stand-up on Netflix now.
Oh, cool. He's, like, taking an interest.
Yeah, a little bit of an interest.
Nice.
And so, like, I'll be able to, like, kind of, like, explain to him where I'm going.
Yeah.
Because we watched Joe Rogan Triggered together, and I was scared shitless because of the things he talks about.
Did I tell you when I was on Kill Tony and Joe Rogan was like I did my rape joke?
Right.
And Joe Rogan, I forgot the title of his thing was Triggered. He used that term like he was like, what do you do if people get upset when you do that joke? Like he was asking like where I do it and when I do it, how I set it up and stuff.
Right.
And he's like, what do you do if people get triggered? I was like, later I was like, that sounds familiar. And I like looked up, I was like, God damn it! Like he was like playing it special, and he's so good at it. Like, Joe, this is my time to shine. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, continue. So your dad's like watching this?
Yeah, so we're watching it. So I have a bit about how I figured out God. So if we look into the universe, we lose the universe. Because we're part of the universe, we lose ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And because if Taylor loses himself into the universe, also if Taylor's his conscious brain, and unfortunately conscious brain is a subconscious brain,
mm-hmm.
and the rule of the subconscious brain is if you think it has been done.
Mm-hmm.
So what if we're all instead of God's subconscious brain playing his really weird video game, but we're all breaking the rules?
Mm.
And then I pause and I go, I just like watching you guys' faces. Waiting for a punchline. Guess what? There isn't. I'm just a crazy person who got on stage, and that's the closer. And so being able to like sit down and tell my dad that that's a joke.
Yeah.
And my dad goes, "Why?" Well, I'm like, "Well, it's Joe Rogan shit. I like the abstract and the weirdness. And just be like, this isn't funny. I just like talking about this, making you think."
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool just to be able to.
I think my parents watched a little bit of something I did that wasn't stand up. It's a podcast, and they like weren't exactly happy about it, and so my dad and I have like an agreement kind of where he's like not trying to be involved, you know, so he doesn't have the reaction that I'm not going to appreciate.
Right, yeah.
I think my mom wants to have that reaction, but I'm hoping she will not. Like I think she's paying more attention than my dad is.
Right, yeah.
And I don't know if that's a good plan. I wish, like, I think they want to be supportive, but they don't fully understand me. And they have different senses of humor, my mom and my dad. And I think things hit them differently, but I think, like, I'm just weird. I'm just, like, the weird one. They don't fully get it. Like, I literally, like, on my drive from San Francisco to LA when I moved here, my parents helped road trip me down with all my stuff and my dog and everything, which was awesome. But a good part of that 6-hour drive was my mom reading all my tweets and asking me to explain them to her. And, I would not recommend that. She's exposed to them because she's on my Facebook and it posts to my Facebook. And there's some work that I'll put into it to having people understand me, but at some point I'm just like, this is it. This is me. Just, that's it. That's all you get. Like, I can't explain myself. Like, you made me. This is what you made.
Yeah, same thing. Like, I draw on t-shirts now. Like, clearly you saw the gray one. I'm drawing on that while blaring, like, YouTube, just, like, comedy and music just to, you know, create some form of creative atmosphere.
Yeah.
My dad would just wake up in the morning, walk downstairs, look over at this kid just drawing on a teacher with something like, man, I hope somehow, somewhere you make it, because you're not cut out for the real world.
But my dad was, we were talking about, this was, like, really, like, made me happy. We were talking about how he's gonna, like, avoid looking at my stuff. But then he was like, because I told him, like, I do have jokes about you that you may not like. And, like, there's definitely ones that he won't like. And he was like, yeah, I know. So that's why I'm just gonna, like, not, like, watch them. And then he was like, but, you know, like, when you make it, like, and you get all this money and become famous and stuff, like, maybe it'll be worth watching then or whatever. Like, maybe it'll be good to watch then. And it was just, like, nice for him. Like, it was cool that he, like, thought that was a possibility. Because, I mean, like, for sure, like, biomedical engineering is, like, my career that gives me money and, like, stability or whatever.
Yeah.
But he, like, before this, and I think he still fully believes that comedy is just, like, a hobby. Even though, like, I don't think he understands, like, how professionally I'm treating it. But this is the first time where he's like, if you make it, like, as a comic, you know what I mean? Like, I just thought that was, like, a really nice idea for him to suggest. I was like, that makes me happy. I don't know.
It's because you kind of live a very kind of Pete Holmesy life. Like, he kind of talks about, like, how his dad and his mom both watched his last special, Funny Faces or something, and with people from, like, their church, right? And his mom got real offended, and his dad didn't, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, it was kind of interesting. Like, his dad's like, I'm supportive of what you do. That's fine. And his mom's like, yeah. And it just kind of reminded me of you. Like, how your dad's like, hey, I'm not going to watch, but, like, when you become famous, I want to watch.
Yeah,
and then we're almost like,
what you got to do.
Like, what does this mean? What does this mean?
Why do you have to swear so much?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah. Honestly, though, like, this is, like, with every, like, this is, like, their reaction with a lot of stuff that I've done. It's like they don't fully understand at the time. Maybe later they kind of get it, or they, like, see that it's done something good for me, or I don't know. But it's like, I was surprised that they weren't upset earlier, like, because they've known since I started that I started doing it. Because my brother sold me out. He told them I was doing it. My brother's such a snitch.
I sold myself out. I was studying Mike Birbiglia's special, My Girlfriend's Boyfriend. Just because at the time I was real quiet and I talked real slow. Things have changed now.
Yeah, you talk real fast now.
Real too fast. And so I would study his special and I would start talking like him. And my dad would just go like, "You're talking a lot like that guy." I was like, "Yeah, I'm studying." I was like, "Are you gonna start doing stand-up soon?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "All right, just good luck." I was like, "Thank you."
That's funny.
Yeah.
Also, people started posting shit on Facebook. I didn't really, like, realize that was a thing with comics, that you post all, like, your flyers and stuff.
Yeah. And
then it just started happening, and I was like, I can't control this. Like, I'm just gonna... This is, like, how I end up telling my parents about things, is I just give up. I'm just, like, I don't have the energy. This is why I think I could never, like, really lie or cheat, or, like, you know, like, maybe I could, and I would, but I would immediately give myself away, because I'm just too tired. Like, I don't have the fortitude to stick with something like that. I'm like, those people who, like, have, like, a bunch of different girlfriends and stuff, like, they gotta spend so much energy just, like, juggling it. And I don't want to put any energy into that. I'm just, like, I like to think of it as, like, not that I don't lie or cheat, but that I just don't have the ambition for it. Like,
it's not the remorse, it's just like, not
it's like
today.
I'm just not good at it. I wish I was better. I wish I was good at lying. No, I don't, but I'm still bad at it. That's how my parents get to know stuff that I do, is I just give up on, like, not telling them, because it's just easier, and I'm just like, whatever, like.
Yeah. It's gonna be strange explaining this. So what did you do? Yeah.
Explain, like, what you do on your nights off.
I pay rent. It's not totally free.
Yeah.
Like, if I go to Mike's and just text my dad the address.
Oh, really?
Like that. I podcast, but I never said the title where it's at.
Yeah.
Because I'm really afraid if they were to listen to this, because I literally I let it all out.
No, I know. My parents watched that podcast, and they like that I did before, and they were like, "What is this?" Like,
yeah. I talked about how losing my virginity like at least 2 times now on it.
Yeah.
Like the one time was like the whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they need to hear that, but it's also like it's true. It's what happened. I like losing your virginity stories. Just say, okay, one day I'll do it. You know, like one day, and then you get the information.
Yeah, it's just more information out there.
Yeah.
It's more empathy out there.
I mean, so you heard the story. So it's not me going, so what I was doing was, I know I try to be respectful.
It's you exploring the space.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't want my parents listening to most of my shit. I think it'd be bad for all of us. But I mean, it would be great if they were chill and they were able to, and there was like no judgment. They're like, yeah, I totally get it. I'm just like you, or But they're not. I can't expect them to be just like me. They're very different people with very different backgrounds. So there's no way I want them to listen to this. Please don't send a copy of this to my parents. Is what I'm asking.
All I'm gonna do is I just tag you in it. That's it. So I mean, it's gonna go on their feed, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, my mom can listen. Shout out to Mom. Thanks for making me. If you're listening.
Hi, Pallavi's mom.
Yeah.
How are you?
I kind of have to I think my parents are all of their stuff is driven by fear for my safety and well-being. But I think because of that, it sometimes comes off like they think that I'm a bad person. I hope that they would be more, like, confident in their skills in raising me, to know that my intentions are good, or what,
right.
Or that I'm trying to be a good person.
Yeah.
But I think because their version of what good people do is like a slightly different archetype, they're a very different archetype. They're very like confused by what I do.
Like 8 o'clock.
I think I need other people to vouch for my soul. Other friends to be like, no, she's great.
She's a good person.
Yeah.
Hi, Pallavi's parents. She's a sad person. Good human being, very open and honest, very transparent and translucent, and doesn't judge nobody. Totally safe, even though she's in the back of a crazy person's car.
Okay, I'm gonna cut
totally
it
safe.
right before there. I'm just gonna cut it to like note to my parents minus, and then totally safe, and then cut.
Totally safe.
And then
totally
cut.
Safe.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I still don't know what I love about myself. But maybe I'll figure it out.
The whole point of like questions like that, for me, is just to watch people's brains work and actually think before they speak. So
you like reactions.
I love
reactions too. I like watching somebody experience something for the first time. I love watching like foreign people try boba. Like the bubble tea, because it blows their fucking minds. It's like watching a baby figure out how to eat. Like they're like, how do I eat and drink this at the same time? So I love watching them like try it for the first time. It's amazing. I stare them intently in the face while they do this.
I love watching people's reactions for the first time watching Fight Club.
I love Fight Club.
It's my favorite
Chuck
thing.
Palahniuk, I don't know how to say. We'll never know how to say his name. Is my favorite author. And he knows one of my friends, and my friend got me for my birthday. Like, I already had a signed copy from another, like, book reading that he did that my ex went to. But my friend got me, like, one of the books that before it was out, like, without the barcode or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Signed. Because she knows him. He gave her, like, all the copies of all of his books early, and like she is in email correspondence with him, and she's like, someday we will have dinner with him. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like I almost like start crying because he's like my favorite author and has been since I was in like 6th grade or 7th grade. Like I read Haunted in like 6th grade or something. Do you know what Haunted is?
No, sorry.
That one of the stories, it's like a series of stories about all these like terrible people. It's really good that all the lights went out on the street right now as I tell you about this book. But it's like a series of like short stories about the backgrounds of all these terrible people in this like hotel or whatever.
Right. And
then the narrative of the hotel, what happens in the hotel, continues through. But it's like these just characters that are just like filthy, messy, like people that you would never empathize with. And one of the stories, he would read it on, like, around the country in book readings and stuff, and people would throw up and start crying at, like, how graphic it was and how disgusting it was. And it's, like, I read that in, like, 6th grade. Like, adult human beings would start, like, vomiting. Like, and I read that in 6th grade, and I loved it. Because, like, he does this thing, and I love this about comedy, too. He does, like, so Chuck, like, does Chuck. I don't like first name basis.
I call Coconut Kyle. It's
yeah, you know Kyle and Chuck.
You know Kyle?
I was hanging out with them.
I was kicking it.
Yeah.
What they had to say.
In the back of my car. No. So he, like, will do this thing where he, like, builds these, like horrible characters and then makes you somehow empathize with them. And I love that, and I think probably part of that is because I am so naive and, like, idealistic about people that I, like, still, like, think, you know, that people are just trying, like, everybody's just trying to be good,
right.
Or, like, you know, they're trying to be better, and so it's really hard for me to just, like, shut people, like, that's part of the skill of, like, letting go with people, is, like, I have to, like, let them be themselves and, like, not expect them to try to be better or whatever. But I love that about comedy too. Like, Bill Burr does that, where he'll push the audience as far as he can and then bring them back. And I love, like, that's, I think, part of the, I try to do that a little bit. Like, I try to talk about, like, really terrible things in, like, and then still have the audience like me. Yeah. But I obviously, like, don't know what I'm doing yet, but, like, that humanity, like, seeing the humanity in the worst of situations is something that I love. In, like, all forms, and Chuck, good old Chuck did that. He's amazing at doing that. Anyways,
I like that, seeing humanity in all forms. It's a very red pill comic thing to do. Like, I was watching 13 Reasons Why.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, real good. It gave me anxiety. One episode at a time is my suggestion.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Yeah.
One at a time. But also just, like, seeing, and also just sitting there and just being so natural for me to go, yeah, like, seeing her side, but then seeing their side and then justifying both sides. And my mind just, like, so immediately, like, but what about this and this and this and this? And I was thinking of, like, jokes in my head as well.
Yeah.
It's
real, not like black and white. It's all.
I mean, there's a lot of mixtures of colors.
Yeah.
And the whole thing. It's interesting to just kind of, like, peel open and watch that and see that.
Yeah.
And also, like, people's reactions on their face, it's the realest thing I've ever seen, because it's that. You can't change it once it's there. Your face shows you everything. And it's nice to watch that and understand and interpret what's going on, like, being shocked, or, like, what? Or, like, something like that sort.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to watch.
Reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do.
I think... Oh, go ahead.
Nope.
Nope.
No,
I'm done. I'm waiting. I've decided it's my turn to wait. You go ahead. I like doing this at open mics, like, often not the joke, but the reaction. Like, how somebody laughs, like, how the audience laughs, or how, like, the comic, like, their reaction themselves, or, like, the audience will make me laugh harder than, like, a punchline. You know what I mean? Like, usually.
Yeah.
Because it's so, like, natural and it's, like, silly, and, like, if I, like, really don't expect it, it's, like, it's so much fun. I think, like, that's why, like, all those, like, reaction YouTube videos and, like, you know, Jimmy Kimmel telling your kid they ate their Halloween candy video, like, all of those, like, just watching a person's natural reaction to, like, unexpected circumstances is really, I don't know, there's something, like, beautiful about it. It's pretty great. I feel like we've lived in this van for, like, half a year. I feel like we've traveled around the country in this van.
Amanda Smith calls it Narnia.
Narnia?
Yeah, I think I might start opening up the podcast by saying "Welcome to Narnia."
I feel like Narnia is a little too white for me. If there's like isn't there like a winter queen or whatever that's like everything's white in that movie? Like I can't relate.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. One day Narnia No, we'll Oz it, and it'll be
Oz
all
it.
black people. And then somehow this Indian person will relate better because it's at least a little bit more colorful.
I'll start reading more books about mythical places, and I'll create a utopian
You're
society.
gonna do like fanfic, but with like a college pamphlet. Like it's gonna be really diverse. It's gonna be,
just so that everyone who walks in feels like real comfortable.
Random beige dude. Just everyone real clean cut.
No.
No.
I don't know. Clean cut isn't shaven, right? Or like clean cut isn't like...
I don't know. Just like, like college pamphlets, like everybody looks really happy and like put together.
Oh, yeah, no. I
want to see a realistic college where it's just
everyone's
me,
just stressed
it's
out.
me on a love sack surrounded by empty candy wrappers, just crying about my physics quiz. I want to see that.
I want to see a picture of me having a panic attack in my car before both jobs because I can't figure out how to pass the class.
Why aren't there more? Why aren't there more realistic images of college students out there?
Why isn't there a picture of a dude just chugging Adderall just because it's the only thing that brings me joy anymore?
Yeah.
Where's that picture?
Yeah.
Where's the college
college campuses? You're not repping us hard enough.
Yeah.
Your art is fake.
It's always just like girl with glasses going, "I'm really smart." You go, "No, you're
also,
not."
like their clothes are so nice. And who irons? Nobody irons in college.
I try to.
I don't iron now. I literally will not wear a shirt for months if it's wrinkled because I'd rather just not. I need to get a steamer or some shit because I'm lazy as fuck, and I'm not. I never iron. I know people that iron. My ex used to iron his bed sheets. That's crazy to me.
Why?
Because he liked how they looked and felt. My dog rolls around in my bed all the time, and I'm just lucky if it's somewhat clean. It's just, his fur is everywhere. He's constantly licking his paws. I don't know why. He's OCD or something. And so I'm just lucky if I do laundry, and if it comes I stress about getting to the dryer fast enough because I will just not wear clothes that I really like if they're wrinkly because I'm too lazy to iron. And that's what the whole point of this podcast was: bettering ourselves one wrinkly shirt at a time. I feel like I'm so tired that I've gone around the other side and I don't need to sleep for 3 days again. Yeah. This does feel, I guess, in terms of timelessness, the back of the band does feel.
Yeah.
Once it got dark, now I just don't know what time it is or what I have to do.
Or sometimes I'll just sitting back here, just thinking and just watching people go by, because the windows are tinted, so no one knows I'm back here just watching the world
just creeping
go by. It's nice. It's
yeah.
Here we're two individual hustlers merging together for one hustle, and no one knows, and it fascinates me.
I would not describe lying down as a hustle.
we're discussing, we're talking, yeah. We're recording,
we're grinding. Wait, that sounds bad in the back of the van. We're hustling.
We're hustling.
We're working hard out
here. We're hustling back in this van.
Yeah. I don't know.
What? It's like a time capsule, kind of.
Yeah.
Just pop out. Oh, shit. Things have changed.
Oh, shit. I have responsibilities.
And maybe that's what this is. It's just a release of everything.
Yeah. Don't have to worry about anything. This is the being in the moment we were talking about. Were we talking about that on this podcast or on the imaginary one?
Both. We were talking
about both? Okay, good.
Because both of the times I thought, oh, yeah, me and Madison Hitchcock talked about that in the first podcast.
Happy Madison. That's cool. Yeah, that's good. You have the back of this van for your present moment until you can translate that to hanging out with the actual people, doing actual things.
Yeah. I'm really excited for this to get somewhat big and hey, can I do the podcast? Yeah, you want to hop in the van.
With our show, our mic show thing, yeah. People have been asking to get booked on it, and it's really cool. People have been messaging me and Katrina, and they people that I didn't know or she didn't know or whatever, hey, we heard your place is hopping, and I'm this is so cool. And we might actually get bigger paid comics or whatever to do it. That'd be dope.
Yeah, and that's what happened at Hooters for Stevie.
Yeah.
Now he's like has a book show and an open mic.
Yeah. Super dope.
Maybe that's another thing about you. You're a hard worker.
I feel like that falls in with the
work ethic. It's very different. Because hard work just means for a moment in time you could be a hard worker, but work ethic means you're a hard worker a lot of the time.
Okay. I see. Cool.
Plus, it kind of adds words and flavors to the whole thing. You're having a rough day, you go, I'm a hard worker. But sometimes you're a little extra push, like, no, I have amazing work ethic because I'm a hard worker. I keep going, I keep moving. I'm scrappy.
You're scrappy.
I'm scrappy.
I think something I at least am figuring out that I might like a little bit better is like being more true to my personality. I think that's like, I feel like that's a good thing. Like being more like transparent or whatever, like you said. I think I like that. Honestly, like the jokes that like when I was joking about like my tweets or whatever, the ones that do better are just like thought, like the ones that I don't try at all. I'm just like, this is like a thought that I'm having right now. Like this is true about my life, and then those ones like get more likes or whatever. And then I'm like, all right, well, that like just validates the feeling of like I should be more myself. Because then I guess that like kind of eliminates insecurities a little bit better when you get that validation that like being yourself like is rewarding.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you're like, I don't want to make it external, but it does help. And then eventually like you're like, okay, this is an incorporated part of myself. It means like that part of myself isn't shitty. Like you still need to check with people if you're being shitty or not.
Yeah.
And then once you're like, oh no, people like it, then I don't need to change that part of myself to be better. You just like incorporate that into my part of my permanent personality. Yeah.
I want to figure out like what about like I don't know what's me and what's not me.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out like what's actual Taylor, what's something that Taylor has learned from other people that he incorporates.
I definitely like feel like a lot of the things that I do might be a reflection of other people.
Yeah.
Or like other people, or like I parts of my personality are accentuated with different people, and so it's like hard to figure out like who you are. But I think like part of like being on your own and like sometimes like living on your own. Not that I am doing that right now, but like when I'm like I spend a lot of time by myself because I do a lot of like work on my own.
Yeah.
And then I like often hit mics by myself. And so like I think that's why I like my tweets. Those are like my internal thoughts.
Right.
Like nobody else is influencing them.
Yeah.
I think at first like I would ask people if something was funny, and like now I just do it, and that's part of the like, oh, like this is all me. It's like, I think that's what's great about like creating content is you're like, this is all me.
Yeah. It's just because you woke up, you had the idea, you embraced the idea, and you did it.
And you're like, it's out there. This is me.
Yeah.
This is all mine. Because, yeah, you're most yourself when you're by yourself, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Trying to figure that out. I actually stopped listening to like the radio and podcasts while driving and just sat there by myself and
sometimes it's
try
nice
to figure shit out.
Sit by yourself.
But like today, nope, I was blaring all kinds of music. Just just to get through.
Yeah. Rough day. I think take 2 was pretty good.
It was good.
Yeah.
I like take 1 just because it was like nice conversation. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
But like take 2, it got
deeper faster.
It got to the meat. It got to the meat real quick.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm going to start doing, just like having a real quick conversation beforehand.
Yeah.
Go, oh, sorry, then click, then go.
You're just going to, like, fake apologize.
My bad. Like, we know you do this. This is a thing you do now. We know this.
You should just tell them that you're going to turn it on whenever you feel like it, and then keep it in your, like, lap or whatever. And then, don't let them know.
That's a good idea, too. Yeah.
Just be like, I'm going to do this at some point, but right now we're just talking.
Plus, it's a comfort thing where we both got real comfortable. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Yay.
Always learning. Now I gotta find I need to find a good meeting spot.
Yeah.
Like,
you need to get a phone with good GPS. I was like, I don't know where you are.
I didn't know where it was either. I had to talk to a guy with a stutter to give me directions. Then I was in the wrong one.
Yeah.
Real fancy though. It's a real fancy place.
I haven't been there. You've been to both campuses, or you've been to that campus, USC. I don't know if you've been to the other one.
No.
Well, together we've been to both campuses. So you asked the questions at the beginning, so how do you want to end this?
I don't know how to end this shit. I'm trying to figure it out, because, like, P. Holmes has Make It Crispy. Rogan says goodbye.
Maybe, like, I don't want to say goodbye from Narnia, because I feel like that's too branded.
Yeah.
So, like,
goodbye from the back? I don't know. No, it's not gross. My bad.
Goodbye from this time capsule.
Ooh, I like that.
Signing off from this time capsule? I don't know.
Signing off from the time capsule?
Yeah. That's like weird in you, right? Kind of?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah, I did
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, eventually. I'm right now just working on how to start this. I want it to be organic, but I also want people to know we're starting, you know?
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to say signing off. Signing off from this time capsule. I said it's so bad. Signing off from this time capsule.
Bye.